Okay. So, VR Troopers is based on, like I said, three Metal Hero series. We're going to talk about how they're adapted when we get to VR Troopers. But the other two that is based on, and this is the English translated names. It is not the Japanese name. I wouldn't do that to you. But it is two series called Dimensional Warrior Spellbond and Super Android Metalder. And again, these series kind of come in multiple flavors. So the Super Dimensional Warriors is kind of similar to Space Cops, where the Space Sheriffs, where they're a warrior. They're from like a military-esque group, and they've come to Earth to fight a particular bad guy.
Jikuu Senshi Spielban!
In this case, they've come to fight. In the case of, we'll do Dimensional Warrior Spellbond. He has come to stop these, and this is where it's funny, the bad guys who want water. They want water. They feel that water is a rare element, and they've come to Earth to get our water, even though we have a shit ton of it. And they, in particular, and a lot of these shows go out of their way to explain why these creatures are attacking only Japan. And it's because Japan has extra special water. And so this show, the distinction with this show is, and I should say the two police ones, is it's a group. With Space Sheriff, it's usually he's the one who transforms, and he's got a female assistant, a hot female assistant. But she never transforms. So the distinction with this one is she also transforms. So he has his own costume, and so does she. But he does most of the killing. So he's the one who gets to destroy the monsters. He's the one where he's got all the vehicles and all the weapons. Like, she's got a couple of weapons, but that's kind of it. And yeah, the bit is they have a suit, they put on a suit, and they tell you how they transform in the suit. And same deal, they fight monsters. Now, Dimensional or Super Android Metalder, his gimmick is he is a robot. So his whole bit is when he exceeds a certain power threshold, he becomes his robot form. And when he's his robot form, that allows him to use all the different vehicles and all the different what have yous.
剣流星の体内に秘められていた全エネルギーが感情の高まりとともに頂点に達したとき、彼は超人気メタルダーに出展する。
And he is kind of like, his story is kind of similar to, you remember Astro Boy?
Yes.
So there's a scientist, and his scientist died in the Pacific, or the scientist has a son, and the son died in the Pacific War. So the robot Speldar, and I'm pronouncing it horribly, but he is the son effectively, and yeah, he fights this evil army. But the thing is, and the reason why I'm like, oh, this is kind of more for older kids to adults, is because they're robots. This one in particular, Spellbond, is violent. Like, one of the first guys he fights, he like punches his arm, and the arm just like caves in, and he rips the arm off, and then he like decapitates the thing.
回路が破壊されたメタルダーに残されたものはもはや力しかなかった。
and it's like, it's a human in a costume, so it's pretty violent, but it's like you're supposed to be like, oh, you can get away with this because it's a robot. And a lot of times, like, when they hit guys with the weapons, they'll, like, slice limbs off, or, like, you'll see the sword, like, go through their body, or, stuff like, or you'll see them explode, stuff like that. So you're like, it's a lot of, like, how did you manage to make this for children in America? Like, unlike Super Sentai, where, like, they go to hit a guy, and then it cuts, and then you see the guy reacting as if he got hit. This show, you actually see them get hit. That's the difference, if that makes sense.
So Sam Snoswell, which as an aside, I love that name, in the comments says, I would like to see a new reboot for Kamen Rider adaptation in the US.
Yes. Absolutely. We'll take this aside to do that. Yes, there's no reason, Jordan, you've watched a few of these seasons, right? Now you can maybe, there is no reason why Kamen Rider, as it is, can't be one-to-one adapted to America. Any of these seasons will work, not, at least the ones that aren't super referential. Like, obviously, like Zio is referential, but...
The biggest contention for problems of why it might be tricky is because... But this is simple enough in just that so far as the fact that nowadays you send the suit over and you reshoot some of the suit scenes.
Yeah.
But in a lot of the ones that I've seen, they spend a lot of time in very Japanese locations.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about, like, adapting it in the way you would a Power Rangers. Where you just use suit footage, you use, monster footage, and then you borrow the suits and you reshoot occasional bits of American footage. But that's what I mean.
I think you could. I don't think it would be any harder than doing Power Rangers.
No, that's my thing. Like, they've tried, and we're gonna get into why I believe Saban's adaptations of non-Sentai stuff didn't work. We're gonna get into that later. But
it didn't work because the North American audience sees one size fits all. They see something that looks like it, and they just think of Power Rangers.
No, well, at least not in my opinion. That's not why I think those series didn't work. We're gonna get there. Don't worry. They absolutely could have. You could have adapted. Anyway, we're gonna get there. Don't worry. But anyway, it is truly remarkable that Saban, like Sentai, I get, right. Sentai, I get. Watching Jew Ranger, or Time Ranger, and being like, I can make this into Power Rangers. Like, I could see how this could be made for an American children. It's a bit rough around the edges, but I could see where you could do the cuts. These are unbelievably violent. Like, like for these kind of shows, in a way that you're like, how did Saban do to what they did to this? How did they do that? Like, anyway, but yeah. I would, to answer my own question, I would watch these. I would watch Spielban. I really liked his action. His fight sequences were really good. The only stuff that sucks is the vehicle stuff, and that's just because it looks old, and none of it's very interesting looking. But when he gets to fight guys hand to hand, it's interesting and it's fun. What's your next thing?
Hey everybody, it's N-Card Justin here again. Yeah, I forgot to include these when I did my Metal Hero video, which is fine, because now it gets to be its own video, but I doubt you've seen these shows. But if you have, let me know down in the comments, or if you're interested in watching these shows, let me know down in the comments. Either way, you can click the box on the left, and that's going to take you to the full episode that this video is from, our Tokusatsu special, where we talk about all kinds of Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, the works. Or you can click the box on the right, and that's going to take you to a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a like if you could, it really helps the channel out. And we'll see you in the next video, everybody. Have a good day.